Good day, sports fans. Welcome back to the second semi-final of the Invitational Cup leading up to the Blood Bowl 2 World Cup. I am joined here by VG Purist. Hello, VG.
Hey, what's going on, Sage?
Hey, so everyone out there watching, apologies for the delay. Bernie had some PC issues which needed to be fixed, but I hear that he's loading up the game now. So, VG, do you want to talk about this matchup a little bit?
Yes, I do. So Bernie Buffon and Pupok, they're both playing human teams, and Bernie, he went with a little bit of a unorthodox. Actually, had prepared for a Wood Elf team and got two blitzers with Mighty Blow and Tackle for the both of them. Whereas Pupok went for a bit of a more, well, a normal out lineup with the three guards, tackle Mighty Blow guy, and a block on the ogre. So human team for Pupok is looking a little bit stronger on paper. However, if the Mighty Blow works out for Bernie Buffon's team, then yeah, we might see the same thing that happened to Diam Lord's Orc team. A lot of injured humans on the other side of the ball.
All right. I have confirmation that both coaches are starting the game right now, so we should be ready to dive in straight away. Just to keep everyone reminded of what's going on, these coaches are fighting for a ticket to the World Cup. Bernie has already qualified, which means if he wins, there will be a third place decider matchup for the second tickets. And if Pupok wins, that means he goes through to the World Cup. Together with Arzawain, the two winners from the Invitational Cup will be advancing to the World Cup, where together with 62 others, they will be fighting for up to $30,000 in prizes, including 10K in cash and two magnificent gaming PCs, sponsored by Asus Republic of Gamers. The World Cup main event will be held starting July 16th, will last for a month. The semifinals will be held on August 14th, and the final will be held on August 16th. Now, this is 64 coaches in a straight elimination knockout tournament. That's going to be super exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm really hyped for it. We are going to still be back for the semifinals in the World Cup. So you guys out there, come back in a month from now. We will see the semifinals and the grand finals live once again. This is going to be really good stuff.
All right, I see that the game is starting, so we're loading right now, and here we are.
Ah, beautiful. Let me see if I can find the game as well. There we go.
So Pupok, shown at the top of the screen here, has decided to go with one tackle and lots of guard. Bernie, who's playing from the lower end of the screen, has gone with two Mighty Blow tackles, only one guard, and the block ogre as well.
Yes, and that is the difference, as I said before. It's just, can the Mighty Blow come out and come through for Bernie's team? That is going to be the question that we have to ask today. But at least Bernie does have two Mighty Blow tacklers, so those catchers on the other side of the ball better start counting their days. They will get blitzed.
Yeah, the tackle is not that great for this matchup, but simply having three Mighty Blow instead of one might just make a lot of difference. So basically, this is a game between Mighty Blow and guard, and of course between Pupok and Bernie.
Yep, so of course in my preliminary prediction I did say I like Pupok to win this one simply because of the better prepared skills for this match. But that's the difference, right? Before the World Cup Invitational began, and just like what we'll be doing for the World Cup, what we're doing is we are hiding the fact that people are choosing their teams, choosing their races, and not doing the invites until the moment in which I have all of the teams together and get the invites out with everyone, so that nobody really knows what skills they're picking, what races. And so right here, it's just a good demonstration that you never know. People think differently, play differently, and thusly all three human teams, even though they're all human, they're all different from one another.
All right. Now, I do think that the roster that Bernie went with would have been very, very good facing, for example, Wood Elves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said it himself that he prepared to play against Anarian, so Anarian pretty much assuredly was going to pick Wood Elves for the tournament, and so he was fearing him the most because of his reputation. But now he just ends up with two tacklers and two mighty blows. So let's hope that doesn't come bite him in the butt.
Well, at least the tackle isn't completely wasted in this matchup, as it would have been against the dwarves or pretty much against the orcs. But yeah, it doesn't have as good value, especially two of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have suspected one, but two of them? Wow. We're thinking calcium cast right there. Shout out.
Absolutely.
Channeling that man right there. Humans versus humans. And even though it's a mirror matchup, we actually had played a all human tournament at one of the leagues I used to run, and it was quite an exciting game. And so don't count this game out, even though this is a mirror matchup. Normally a little bit known for a not so exciting contest. This is going to still be one of the exciting ones here. Human versus human. You just never know what's going to happen out there.
All right. Bernie opening with a 3-die blitz, but no armor break against the catcher.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying there. At least it does activate the tackle on the catcher if he gets a defender stumble. So not a complete waste, but yeah. Would be nice to see it activate and show everybody, hey look, mighty blow tackle guys, it works.
Nope. Ogre also not breaking armor, so 4 knockdowns, but 0 armor breaks. That can't make that can't make Bernie too happy here.
No, it definitely doesn't.
I mean, being faced with all that guard, dealing some damage is really the main thing he has going for him in this matchup. And it's not happening yet.
And right there, guys, ball security. As you can see, even the top players have to do it. They put the guys right in front so that if there's going to be a ball pickup failure, then at least these guys will be there to at least mark the ball if it scatters wrong.
Yep, and screened off nicely as well. I don't think you can be a top player without having this down.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, so many times, again, it's just, I see it on the ladder. I see it so many times. Newer players out there just guard the ball, and just that one little thing just makes the game a whole lot easier to play.
Now, he may have only the Ogre as a mighty blow, but, 3 dice with block, effective enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
But also, nope. We want to see more blood.
More blood for the blood god, Nuffle.
Well, yeah, let's go with that.
Of course, though, humans.
So let's see.
They're not going to push the ball too hard. They're just going to be playing some shadow ball right now. That's pretty normal for a lot of these top players. For the first few turns, just staying away from each other and just getting the cobwebs out, like I said before, and just not going to be getting too aggressive.
So both human teams have 12 players and an apothecary. However, Pupok won +2 fame for this matchup, so that could prove to be a deciding factor if there's such a thing as a throw a rock or a pitch invasion, or even just a free reroll.
Oh yeah, did he get the 2 fan factor? Now remember, this is resurrection mode, so you don't gain anything. So he picked that up, did he?
No, the +2 fame. I'm not sure the exact fan factor amounts because they scrolled out of my dice log.
Oh, that's all right. Well, humans versus humans. Who would have thought? And it's going to be a human versus human grand final as well. I mean, this is such a this is so foreboding, I think, for the World Cup.
Absolutely. Now we see that Pupok parked his only tackler on the catcher, making sure that Bernie has to commit to punching that, which he can't really do, or try to disconnect the catcher without the team reroll for it.
Indeed. And if you're thinking about it, what would you do, Sage? If you're thinking, hey, look, there might be a lot more humans in the World Cup, what do you think would be a good counter given the World Cup format?
Orcs.
Orcs.
Not that we've seen that today. I think orcs and necro are teams that are very viable against humans. Absolutely.
Ah, yeah.
I think they're a pretty hard counter against wood elves, especially.
Right. In the chat, we're seeing Brett's. I don't know about that, guys. Oh, you jokers online.
Yeah, the problem with orcs, as Jimmy is saying, is they start off pretty weak with only 4 skill ups, whereas humans get 6. It's only in the later matches, once it becomes more even or relatively more even, that the orcs really start to shine.
Yeah, and that's actually another good difference to mention here. The World Cup, unlike this World Cup Invitational, where they're not getting skills every single round afterwards, in the World Cup you are, and so some teams can actually build up and will be able to catch up in this type of format. So humans, yeah, at first looking great, but then will probably drop off slowly, especially against, as you said before, orcs, maybe even some other teams, yeah, elven teams that can start building up more blodge, and so you need more tackle. I mean, one of those things in which, yeah, the getting the extra skills between each rounds really plays a huge role. So
Yeah,
uh,
it's
who
it's
knows?
it's hard to get there though, if because the early games are really skewed in favor of the tier 2 teams, and in this invitational, those early games are the rule set we use for all the games. But once the coach is progressing it further and further, the relative advantage from the tier 2 teams is going to be less, and we're going to see the tier 1 teams that manage to get through the first rounds actually potentially wind up doing better.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really excited. I mean, when that was on the table and I saw it, I was just like, oh my gosh, that is so brilliant. Because originally I had pushed for more skills to start off with as the skill sets. But then when that was introduced, I was just like, oh gosh, that's even better than what I had thought about, and was just like, that just makes it to where, yeah, the tier 2 teams look great at first, but then the tier 1 teams will catch up, and now it's just anyone's ball game.
What I like about the skill advancement rule set is that it gives people who are new to the game, because the World Cup main event is going to bring in a lot of viewers who don't know the game yet, and for them to see that teams do get better over time, that they progress, that they learn new skills, is definitely a big part of what makes Blood Bowl so appealing. And so I understand that the organizers wanted to show off that side of the game.
Oh yeah, and smartly so, smartly so. I mean, just you get the doubles after the first round, then a general, then another doubles, and then a general if you make it to the semis, and then the grand finals. But I mean, it's just a difference. And also the nice thing is we're going to see what the coaches are going to be thinking about in their next match. Will they prepare for the next person they'll play, or will they continue to play generalized skills in which counters, or is a good counter for everything, right? I mean, it's just going to be one of those things.
Yeah, it's interesting that you can see your entire bracket already, so you know what the options are to face after your next match as well.
I mean, that's this is gonna be so exciting, and I can't wait to watch all of the World Cup. I mean, I'm gonna be doing it um, from the round of 64 on until we do it live season semifinals. I mean, just I'm so excited to see what the coaches will bring, what their thought process is gonna be, and how they got there. And so we're gonna have much different looking teams by the end of the grand finals. Even if it's say humans versus humans in the grand finals, their teams are gonna look nothing alike. At least
Yeah,
I hope
because
so.
at that point in the grand finals, a human team would have 12 skill ups on it. That's a
Mm,
lot.
yeah.
Now, you are limited to only 2 skill increases per player, but you can still make quite a formidable team with that. But of course, the tier 1 teams are still going to have 10 skill ups, including 2 doubles. So the relative difference from the number of skills will be way smaller by then.
Yeah, for
I
sure. And
really hope that some I really hope that some tier 1 teams make it to the last rounds so that we can actually see that differential shrinking over time.
I'm sure we will. I mean, it's gonna be one of those things where it's it's not you can't count out the tier 1 teams as of yet. Sure, they start off a little bit handicapped, but a couple of games later they will catch up, and hopefully we will see a few more tier 1 teams than tier 2 teams. But we'll see.
So far, Bernie isn't making much of a dent in Pupok's team, and Pupok is just, gradually standing in the way, not getting connected, not utilizing his guard until he has to,
Hmm.
because as long as he can keep his distance, Bernie's fairly contained right here.
Yeah, and actually, he's waiting for Bernie to make his move at this point, and as you can see on the field, he's putting the guard players in the back line and keeping them out of harm's way so that every single time Bernie does blitz with the Mighty Blow Tackler, then it will just hit a guy without skills and not going to be one of the main guys with skills. So good.
Not only that, he's basically dictating where Bernie will go. The only place he can go is right where all of those guards are. So making sure that his strength is the side where Bernie needs to go in order to advance. Now we're already on turn 4. Damage has been very slim, and Bernie's gonna have to start getting a move on, getting his entire team diagonally leftwards, advancing up the field, which means that the guard and the ogre are actually in a pretty good spot.
Hmm. Yeah, the Bernie's team does need to slightly hurry up now, otherwise he's gonna miss the train there. But still plenty of turns to play, and humans they can throw the ball, but I don't. Of course, you never want to really throw the ball if you can help it. But at least he does have the thrower on the pitch with the ball, and he does have a couple of catchers that can catch it.
Yep, although the catcher on the right flank is not going to get very far very soon. The catcher in the middle might get a bit of a position, but I don't think he wants to send him all the way forward just yet. Although he does have the ability to get fairly far away from the tackle blitzer that Pupok has positioned on the right flank.
Yeah, let's see how well Bernie plays it. He did make it past my favorite to win the World Cup Invitational, which was Shawnee's Dwarven team. So he better prove that he could do it and prove not only to himself that he can do it, because he's been a little bit down on himself, I'll tell you that much. And he's a good player.
Yeah, he's caught a fair deal of flack over the whole situation. But to be fair, it was a tricky situation all around.
For sure.
I don't think there were any good choices to be made at the time that he needed to make his call.
Yeah, we'll see if human teams, if they're going to dominate in the World Cup, and we'll see which one's going to get there today. Missed dodge there.
Yeah, that's not going to see a reroll.
No. As we
All
see,
right.
as we said though before, if Bernie does advance on, then there will be a third place match. So at the moment, Diam Lord is Bernie's biggest fan.
So will we see Pupok now getting connected everywhere, putting that guard to good use, or will he try and screen off and simply keep Bernie from advancing further down this flank?
Yeah, we'll see how he feels now. Does he get aggressive or does he just continue to hang back? That's a good question right there, Sage.
He does have the ability to put the ogre onto the ball with backup from more guarders, so I suspect, yeah, there we go.
Nice. Yeah, he's gonna sit right there, holding up the line for put the guard to use. That's why we get it. And now Bernie's gonna be faced with a decision: do I move on, or do I just try to bash back, or just go back?
Yeah. Now, if he does dodge out, there is quite a gap on the left flank so far. So Pupok will have to kind of balance his forces between guarding that advance and making sure that the center position is strong enough that he doesn't get hit back too hard.
And that's the strategy.
Now,
Blood Bowl.
yeah, the good thing for Pupok here is that Bernie's ogre doesn't have a way to punch Pupok's ogre because all of his linemen are in the way. And the lack of guard is really coming into play here.
Yeah, the lack of guard is really starting to hurt here. If he had guard himself, he'd be able to maybe fight back and maybe punch a hole somewhere. But at this point, he just has to just roll away from the guard. And there's no real easy two-die blocks or even one-die blocks that he can feasibly make here. So at this point, it just looks like he's either going to start moving to the left side where he's going to start getting stuck, or move back and just kind of reset the offense.
Now, there are a bunch of chain push options available here, but they will require a fair deal of commitment, I think.
I don't know if you want to do this on turn 5. But does Bernie want to make the dodge away too? I don't even think that's going to be a possibility either. That ogre is a huge bone in the throat right now. What a difference there. The ogre, the big guy. I've seen some people play with the humans without the ogre, and I'm just like, I feel like you need him.
That to me only works when your team value based matchmaking is very tight.
Yeah.
If you are a 1400 team value human team and you know that you're going to be facing roughly 1400 opponents, that is actually quite okay. However, if you might run into 1900 opponents, that's really going to hurt.
Yeah, that's really going to really hurt. Someone on the
So
chat
I guess
here.
we're going to see.
I'm sorry.
So I guess we're going to see a dodge then from the thrower.
Looks like. But yeah, someone in the chat here is like sideline cage, but oh god, I hate sideline cages, especially without sidestep. I don't think we're gonna see that if it could be helped. But yeah, looks like it's more and more gonna be a dodge now. There's just no easy dice here for the blocks to be made.
Well, you can still get fairly far without moving the blitzer first, though, and that's kind of helpful. Oh, he's making a handoff instead. All right.
The 3+ handoff. Oh, nice and easy with the 6. Oh gosh.
And it is the sideline cage.
Oh no, Bernie!
Will we see a half dice surf?
Bernie, he's doing it. The sideline cage. Well, and you know, moreover, he had to be using the Mighty Blow tackler as well, and not exactly skilled to do this. So one of those things, an unhappy choice, but Pupok has done it with his guard. Human players is just
There we go.
Make the humans on Bernie's side make the terrible choice of giving it to the Mighty Blow tackler and not exactly the best ball carrier, and get to the sideline cage, which again isn't a good position.
And now we see the strength of all of that guard, because instead of getting blocked after connecting, he's getting disconnected from. And the dodge fails first thing.
Ouch! There's definitely a reroll there.
But it's not good enough.
1 and 9.
So this is guard really, really winning out for Pupok, because all of these punches that he gets to make are because he outstrengthened him enough that Bernie couldn't punch back. And that's a really big deal.
Here comes the river floweth. It's going to just knock down all the green players. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then likely a blitz on the catcher. And gonna maybe force this touchdown coming up. This is not such a bad thing to give up the touchdown this early.
All right. Tudai used up the reroll and did not knock down. So that's not going to make Pupok very happy. But he does still have 5 players free to move around in the back. He can free up a 6th if the ogre blocks. So he can move quite a ways towards where the ball is, put up enough pressure that Bernie will feel forced to score, leaving Pupok 3 turns for the equalizer.
Yeah. And at this point, oh boy, that Mighty Blow tackler there that didn't fall. Oh man, that might have saved Bernie just a little bit. So the blitzes have to come out on the guy that's screening out the over-the-top blitz, and he's going to get hit, but there's going to be a nice little open path for the time being on the left side, and Bernie now will be faced with a little bit of a decision. Will he try to hold it a little bit longer and risk it, or will he just make the touchdown a little bit earlier than normal?
Yeah. Pretty bad block dice this turn for Pupok. I mean, the first 6 dice and no knockdown. That can't be very helpful.
Yeah.
But this is still a lot of pressure to put onto Bernie's offensive play.
Yeah, he will be able to catch up to.
There's another guarder down there as well who can move up and make life difficult. There he goes.
There he moves. And unfortunately, no blitz there already being used, and so can just mark up the screen that's holding up the sideline cage there. But this is the reason why I don't like sideline cages right here. It gets surrounded, and suddenly you're stuck.
And the option of a quick score is now also being pretty much taken away.
Yeah,
or at least made very, very risky.
nice little nifty dodge. Again, humans have to live by the 1 and 9s, and right there, getting away with it and putting up a nice screen here over the top.
I think Bernie has to hope that he even gets to score anymore at this point.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough choice here. Bernie might have to pull out some stops here to get the score. This is not going to be an easy offense here, and Pupok's trying to think of a way to make this defense even better than it already is. And there's plenty of
Yeah,
choices here.
he has to kind of choose between the catcher and the screen, although there is a spot diagonally behind the catcher where he would actually be pretty much doing both.
Yeah, and that's what Pupok is thinking about right now. Where should he put the thrower at this moment? Should he put it right by the lineman with guard, or should he put it on the catcher, or should he just kind of move him a little bit and just be in range? And it looks like that's going to be the choice right there.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very tough for Bernie. I mean, he does have enough movement that he doesn't need to push now, um, but getting a safe position anywhere on the pitch is going to be very, very difficult to do because this guy's knocked down. Jamie Oberwald here. Vincent has some mobility, but not enough to get relevant. The ogre's tied up. He's got a lot of one dice. Very, very difficult to make anything useful out of this.
Yeah, and quite honestly, Bernie's position is not as bad as it could have been had those blocks been good for Pupok. So this is still tenable, but not the best position still, even with the good dice that happened to Bernie's way. And this is the nice thing, Blood Bowl again. It's just you factor in some things. Yeah, there's some things you may get lucky on, but this is the position you're presented with, and no two Blood Bowl games are alike because of it.
Absolutely.
So now's the decision.
Now, oh, the ogre fails to knock down the lineman marking it, making
gosh.
a safe position even harder to accomplish.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit more difficult.
The ball carrier can blitz and create something of a safe pocket here. Ish.
Ish.
But that's ish. But that doesn't get him anywhere. That just means he's got one turn fewer to get somewhere useful.
And look, and the blitzer, the ball carrier can blitz one of those guys at the top or bottom there to maybe make the sideline cage a little bit safer. But if he gets a both down die, it's not going to be a good case for him. And there you go. Ooh, push.
No knockdown there hurts
no knockdown,
a lot
though.
as well.
Yeah, no knockdown. But at least it is just a push and not going to be a both down die where he would have been in an absolutely terrible position. Oh, boy.
Well, he still is. He needs a dodge to get safe. And even that safety is not that productive, really.
Oh, gosh. He's going to hang by the sideline there on the top. I don't know. This could fall really flat on his face here.
This is starting to look like a 0-0 drive to me, which of course is a huge win for Pupok because getting to defend successfully is half a win.
Yeah, for sure. This is the dream. If you're playing Blood Bowl, stop the opponent from scoring. But it's not over yet. This is why I like playing humans, I guess. Or the humans are being played. Ooh, missing the dodge there, but getting the reroll. But this is why the humans are so dangerous in this format too. They can still throw the ball. They can still be a little bit more, I guess, dodgier.
This is a good play from Bernie, though. It makes sure that the catcher, who's screening off the south end of the ball carrier, is less at risk. And that makes him a little bit safer here. But using up a reroll again on the dodge, at least this time he made it. Ooh.
And not going to help out there. No outlet.
Bernie's dodges have been at that. Yeah.
And there, the blitz coming all over the top, I think, and then a surround on the ball carrier. What do you think?
I think Hugo Advar, the lineman over by the ogre, might actually move up to a receiving position in this case. because having it sounds kind of optimistic, but having a receiver means that Bernie cannot afford to take as many risks trying to score, because it might just not only cost him his own touchdown, but actually have him suffer a touchdown in return. And we see that the Bernie's catcher there is actually still next to Pupok's tackler, which means he's likely to get knocked down and probably not doing that much. Nope, we do not see a touchdown threat. Now this is turn 6, so he can still do so later if he wishes.
Just a push on the catcher there. That's going to help out with the offensive threats. That's what Bernie needs right there. Somebody to still stand on his feet. But
that's going to get rerolled.
He's going to have to reroll that. Defender down. That's beautiful. But yeah, I would definitely say that the receiving threat for Pupok, that is definitely a viable strategy. And I would also say that you've been playing elves for far too long there, because that's definitely an elven move.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ooh, the guard are getting next to the ogre there. This is very, very committed.
Whoa, I love it. He says, I don't care about your ogre. I really want to try to stop your ball carrier and make things way uncomfortable for you.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very difficult situation.
Oh, the GFI, the reroll's already used.
Yeah, he had a beautiful spot to park his ogre. That was great, and it would have allowed him to make a 2-die with his garter on the catcher out there. But the ogre tripped 1-1-1. Will this be enough to give Bernie a shot at punching through? It looks pretty dire.
This is actually a really good thing for Bernie, because now he can actually blitz away the guy that's holding up the thrower, and if he gets a down die on him, then he has an opening to hand it off to the thrower, and then maybe he makes the throw to the catcher for a touchdown. Hey? I've been playing elves for too long.
Ambitious. He does have the option of making a surf out of this. A chain push on Eamond Wolf would knock him into the prone guard guy, who would go into the crowd.
Oh, there you go. He actually frees up the catcher instead with the thrower.
Yeah. That looks decent.
Yeah, very decent, and he still has his blitz, so...
I'm surprised Stefan Oberwald near the line of scrimmage hasn't stood up yet, because keeping these guys busy seems pretty viable. Yeah. If you want to dodge out, it's going to be with Jamie, not with Stefan.
I think at the moment he's probably scared for his guard piece, because, as we pointed out, every skilled piece is a key piece at this point.
Yeah, that ogre GFI may just save Bernie. Yeah. Here we go.
There we go.
There's the chain push and the surf.
Nice, and gets the down dice, so that's going to free up the ball carrier.
Yep. Yeah, this makes the backfield situation a lot better for Bernie. Ooh, Wolfgang Schmitzer is broken.
And the first blood being drawn by Bernie.
Oh,
Apo will
the doctor doesn't care.
But the doctor, oh gosh, he needs to go back to get his medical degree, because he has utterly failed to save him.
I'm sorry about your neck. Let me break your skull instead. Good doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Apo. It's just a reroll on the injury, just in case you guys don't know out there, and still a 50-50 chance of not being able to save your character from a bad injury such as that.
Yep. So that's a big hit for Bernie, not from all the mighty blow, but from a nicely placed surf. Now, I have to admit, I was a little bit worried about this when I saw Pupok place his garters there, and I think the fact that he managed to do this, that Bernie managed to pull this off, is really largely due to Pupok's ogre falling flat on his back, trying to walk just a little bit further than those ham-like legs could manage.
Yeah, I mean, and Blood Bowl is just one of those games where the position really matters. I mean, just that small little GFI fail, and suddenly the offense springs to life. But the failed, that actually might be okay. That might actually be okay, because now he's still viable for the last turn, and he's in range for the touchdown. So that's okay. The catcher
Yeah, but
falling.
that means that the blitzer holding the ball is going to have to pass into the end zone, and that's assuming there's a clear path for him to get there, which is not trivial because Arnulf here can be freed up. Um, there we go.
Yep. And
Oh, he's not actually.
oh,
Huh. Arnulf is blocking, which means the other lineman here is being freed up. Hugo, is he gonna go bother the guys around there then?
yeah,
That's a
maybe.
little bit surprising.
Even though Bernie did get a little bit of a get out of jail free card in the last round, this is still not going to be an easy touchdown by any means.
I wonder if he's considering the over blitz because that would free up another guard player to
Yeah,
get into an important place.
then maybe what he's thinking about at the moment is, boy, does he risk the blitz on the bonehead? But of course, any good player knows you make the 100% moves first,
There it comes.
and then the dicey moves. There you go. Yes, he will do it. Defender
He
stumbles.
does it.
Oh gosh, and the noose is tightening around Bernie's neck.
Yeah.
8th round coming up.
He's still gonna need two more players to make this decently secure, but he has those. He just needs them to dodge out.
Yeah, and right now, look at
Or
that.
punch.
Pupok is largely ignoring the catcher in the center of the pitch. Like I said before, he's in range, so worst come to worst, a throw.
Yeah. Yeah, but the other catcher, the one he just punched, actually had a shot as well.
Ooh,
I'm really surprised that the last lineman didn't go and mark the prone catcher
wow.
upfield.
It's like Pupok wants to see magic. He's like, you know what? This has just been boring. Let's just see what the humans can do. And this is exactly what he's done here. Catcher is absolutely in range.
Yeah. So there are two catchers who have the potential of scoring. The one standing next to the ogre, and the one in near the end zone. Advantage of this one of Charlie here is of course that there is no pass needed. However, getting him free is not trivial.
Oh, I'm just thinking in my head, how can he use these catchers? And that's exactly what Bernie is thinking at this moment with his human team. How can he get that ball to Cody, who's laying down in the center of the pitch? Or
All right.
possibly even Charlie, but
Ogre assists. We see a block. No pushback though, which
yeah,
might complicate matters a little bit.
that will ham up some of the openings that was likely for the throw. So this has gotten a little bit more trickier.
Yep. Yeah, half dying the ogre is not really much of an option, especially without block.
Yes, indeed. No two red die blocks here. Two red die blocks, of course. Your opponent chooses what dice to be rolled, so that's not ideal in this situation.
I can confirm that this is indeed where the semifinal and the grand final of the World Cup will officially be cast.
Ah, beautiful. So we'll be back again for the semifinals and grand finals for the World Cup. But first, the Invitational, a taste. And I have to say, I really like the taste so far. Looks like he's going to do it.
All right. Catcher is getting in position, but getting the blitzer out for a favorable pass is not easy by far.
This is not going to be easy. One more reroll left, and you would like to keep it for the pass, but not an easy blitz on at least maybe the guard blitzer there in the center that's holding up everything for an opening. Unfortunately, the ogre is just in the way, and
But who's going to blitz that? If Vincent had gotten a
oh, he's
knockdown,
moving. He just says, screw it. 5+ pass into a 3+ catch. Interception tries failed, but no, the pass on the 5+. No
Bernie
go.
does not score.
And Bernie went for the 5+. Wow.
And this is where Pupok is kind of sad he doesn't have a scoring threat. However, he has no time to be sad. He's super happy. He can serve a catcher or even...
Oh, gosh. Trying to channel Nuffle there. I think he did not sufficiently sacrifice enough of whatever Nuffle wanted last night because
I
he had a chance.
I think he might be able to serve the ogre with some chain pushes. Nope. Never mind.
Ah. Looks like
If he'd started off with Yugo, then he could have pushed the ogre once, and then the ogre could have blocked to push him again. I think there was a chain serve there.
Well, looks like though opting to go with the ogre block, and almost gets a nice little armor break, but just a stun.
But yeah, it was really Vincent's both down where he needed a POW push or a POW that made this play next to impossible. If Vincent had knocked down and pushed, then he could have made a dodge for a blitz, get rid of the Garter, which would have given him a much easier passing option.
3 to high blitz, might as well, I guess.
Yeah. Not good for much else. The surf works, but is no good.
Yeah.
So that catcher is going to be right back into the game.
Well, I mean, at least Bernie will be happy going into the second half here. Even though he didn't score, at least he did take out a guard blitzer in that last pit.
And the apothecary. Yep.
So, and Pupok's human team will be without a apothecary for the next half. So any more armor breaks, and Bernie does have 2 mighty blow players, 3 actually, and so he could end up winning the armor break situation. More stuns there.
That is very true. We're going to halftime.
Halftime 0-0. Bernie Buffon failed on his approach, but may have gotten at least a little consolation. So we'll see how he wants to play defense.
Yeah. Now he does have more mighty blow, but because of the vast amount of guard difference, well, it shrunk because there's 1 guard removed. But still, 3 guard versus 1 is 3 guard versus 1 is going to mean that Pupok probably has the opportunity to throw a lot more blocks. On top of that, he's receiving, so he gets to throw the first 4. I wouldn't be surprised if Bernie fails to outbash Pupok too much this half, and that Pupok winds up scoring turn 16.
Morton, the answer is yes. We are winning. But if you were rooting for the console player right now, then you are not winning. Currently, though, Pupok is at a slight advantage here to win the game, and he just needs to score it and run out the time to realize his advantage, his slight advantage at this moment. So this is looking good if you were a Pupok fan. Even worse if you are Diamond Lord.
Yeah, he did get punished for giving up that serve, but other than that, solid defensive half. Bernie's gonna struggle.
Yeah, we'll see here. Hopefully the mighty blow will activate for Bernie, and as you can see there, he's also opting to pick a kickoff formation that protects the skilled players, as you can see on the pitch. So
yeah, he doesn't mind if Pupok decides to score very quickly, because then he gets a good chance at overtime. He's more concerned with protecting the most valuable players.
Yeah, and Bernie is slightly behind, so will he play it aggressively, or will he just kind of hang back for the time being? The guard of Pupok's team, though, surely should steamroll the green human team, but the mighty blow could be the difference.
I think we're going to see a very, very cautious offensive play from Pupok.
Yeah. If anything, he it's just like what we said earlier. The good players, they force you to make the rolls and they force you to get aggressive, and then suddenly you're the one rolling dice, and that's not a good thing.
So Pupok got a free catch and a free reroll, further solidifying his advantage.
Oh yes, look at that. Pupok strikes back in the middle. Just gonna be stunned there, but that will help things out.
So the Lord is probably watching this very, very closely, really, really rooting for Bernie to win so that he gets another chance to face Pupok for the third place game. Because if Bernie loses, then it's Pupok and Arzawain going to the World Cup.
That's very true. And then the grand finals tomorrow will just be for show, but it'll be a fun show.
For glory.
Yeah,
well, it'll be to win one of the most prestigious tournaments there is, because these are all great coaches, multiple-time qualifiers, winners of the Champion Cup. So the getting to win this tournament is a prestige in and of its own, even if you don't need it to qualify for the World Cup main event.
Yeah, you're
for glory
right.
Indeed.
You are absolutely right. All 64 teams, all 64 coaches, they have done what a lot of people hasn't. I mean, even before this, there was World Cup qualifier events going in. So, I mean, it has not been easy whatsoever for any of these coaches to make it in.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think I've played about 24 qualification games over 4 different leagues, and I got just through because I couldn't have lost a single game more there in the playoff phase, and still qualified. So it was a very, very close call, and I'm really looking forward to getting to play in the World Cup.
Yeah, and it is going to be a single elimination, and so there's going to be a little luck involved. And sure, there are going to be 32 coaches that will be eliminated by next week, by the end of next week. But I mean, it's just one of those things where you can't just hang your head low. It's going to be one of those things where it can only be one.
There can be only one, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Pupok playing it soft again. Yes, Bernie is hanging back. Looks like, or either that or his PC has crashed. Hopefully it's not
God,
the latter.
I hope
not. Or perhaps Bernie has fallen asleep. There we go.
It's moving.
There he's moving, guys. Gonna blitz down the outside threat there. I'm not sure what that's all about.
Just making sure that he's contained to one side. Pretty aggressive stuff. Keep making sure he's got punches on the back, so that Pupok needs to keep the backside of his cage intact. Can't afford to just put up a wall, which is a fear of Bernie's probably because of the guard.
Indeed.
Are we going to see the ogre jump onto these exposed linemen here? It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to be aggressive. Bernie can't just hang back and see what happens. He has to really put up a fight and hope that Pupok's players, if not Pupok himself, will mess up at some point.
Yeah, you're right. You can't just let your opponent just do what he wants. You need to just get a little bit more aggressive. He doesn't have to go all in or anything like that, but he does need to make Pupok think about his positioning, think about the strategy that he wants to take. Always wants to make it to where he has to either make a dice roll or put one person maybe in just a slightly bad position, and then Bernie may be able to pounce on it and then take the ball away, or at least stop him up for the 0-0 overtime.
So there's a conversation in chat going on asking whether anyone qualified 3 times in different tournaments. And indeed, Palladius did. He only signed up for 3 qualifier tournaments, and he wound up qualifying in all 3 of those. Now that is spectacular.
Impressive. Palladius.
Yes, very much so. Yes.
I'm excited to see what he has in store. I haven't really seen many of his matches, and so I'm really interested to see what he has in store for the World Cup. I mean, this is so good about this World Cup. A lot of great players playing in it. Some notables. We have Guinness back from the 2016. He had won it 2 years prior, and now he's back again. Ducky's back, Spartaco's back. All these great names, Jimmy Fantastic as well, and yourself, the Sage. Lots of great players going in to the World Cup, and forgive me if I don't say your name here right now, but there's a bunch of great players going in, so I'm really excited to see what's to come.
Yes, yes, absolutely, as am I. I really hope that I won't be available. Ooh, double skulls, but rerolled into a knockdown on this Mighty Blow Blitzer, who is stunned.
Ah, nice. It's always good to see your rerolls at least get an armor break, but no big payoff, but at least just a stun. The ogres. I love it. They're facing off against one another in the front line. Who's going to blink first?
Some pretty spread out play by Pupok here. Doesn't want to commit to one side too much, I guess.
This is the kind of play that you can not really expect, but one in which is a bit normal for human players when they're playing against another team that maybe not as bashy, and so they spread it out. They can definitely just kind of keep it mobile and play a little bit elf-like. But he is spreading around his guard, and so that is his advantage. Does need to keep them together for that steamroll that we're talking about.
Well, he doesn't have to hurry, of course. I mean, he's got 6 more turns after this one. And if he can make sure that Bernie has to come to him, then that might be just the thing.
Oh gosh, more armor breaks, but more stuns. So Bernie thanking his lucky stars. At least he sacrificed to the proper gods on the injury, so okay for it.
Oh, wait, is Necropotence Palladius? I had no idea.
Oh, is it? I think he might be tongue in cheeking it.
But yeah, as I was saying, I really hope that I will not be available to cast the semifinal and the final. But worst comes to worst, actually casting it will also be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be loads of fun. I mean, I remember 2 years ago we casted together, and that was loads of fun as well. And so, more Blood Bowl action, more of these games. Oh gosh, I really couldn't have waited for the 2018 to come any faster for the World Cup. And I knew months in advance, and I just had to hold my tongue for so long, not announcing it. But man, it was so difficult. I was just like, oh, thank God, there's gonna be another one in 2018. And a lot of people were kind of speculating, oh, are they gonna wait every 4 years maybe? But it was instead 2 years, and so I'm really happy for that.
It's the downside of inside information. You know, and you can't tell anyone.
I know. Oh gosh, I was biting my tongue so bad, so bad. Necro pretends I will believe anything you say, good sir.
There we go.
You would never lie to me, right?
Mighty blow not needed, but still no injury.
Yeah, lots of stuns going around. Not exactly the best case, but we'll be able to
Ooh.
touch the ball carrier. And so there you go. The slight aggression needed, and we'll be able to get some right there.
Yeah, he's really suffering from those stuns though, because he can't really keep the right flank safe here, because he's lacking the players. If those guys hadn't been stunned, this would have been a much more formidable situation.
Yeah.
We might even see a breakthrough play here. Of course, the catcher is flanked by another, so a handoff play would even have a reroll built in.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things
But
where not a lot of guard either, so Pupok should be able to get 2-die blocks and maybe free the ball carrier a little bit easier.
Oh,
Oh, the
oh.
4+3+. He's gonna be able to get away.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah, I like this. Will we see the lineman base one more guy, and if so, whom?
Oh, I love that play right there, and I almost feel like that was forced right there. Otherwise, he would have got absolutely crushed by the two human players on the right side. So the dodge out was pretty foreseeable, but he got the dice. Well done.
Oh, and a bonehead. Suddenly, Pupok is put under a lot of pressure here.
And there you go. The slight
At least he
aggression
gets the both down.
being paid off. Won't have his ogre for this next bit. And where's he gonna go with the ball? Sage on the right side there with the side cage. Oh,
Yeah, I think he can go forward relatively well here.
hmm.
I mean, the tackle is out of commission there.
Oh,
The guy who blitzed can still assist a block there.
Nicely done.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, more defender down. Oh, that's that right there, saving Pupok alone.
So now he can move forward with relative safety.
Yep, looks like, and he'll be able to at least get the screen off, but he should be able to get a nice little escort here for his ball carrier, nice and easy.
Provided his catcher manages the 8 out of 9 dodge. Or a punch, I guess.
Yeah, the punch is gonna be coming, but does need to get an assist on. It's catcher on catcher in the backfield there.
Yeah, but even a both down is good enough to prevent getting that catcher blitzing him.
Yeah,
If his ball carrier moves forward enough.
that's if Pupok wants to do a one die. There's the movement by the ball carrier, moving it up. He could actually use his catcher, maybe dodge away and get some more escort if he didn't feel like punching.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's... Oh! Dodge skill saving him there.
We live
That
and
is
die.
crucial.
Live and die by the 1 and 9s.
And of
Oh,
course,
look at that.
once the important stuff is done, cheeky one-die pows help a lot too.
Hey, you know, when you're living on one die blocks, then defender downs. That's what you roll, right? I mean, that's what you do. That's natural.
I like this position a lot. I think he might even consider rerolling that dodge. Nope.
Nope, not gonna do it there.
Because having that lineman 2, 3, 4, 5 finish up the screen would prevent a lot of players from pressuring onto the position of the loose screen there.
Yeah, you may be right about that, but it's one of those things where in a knockout format, having an extra reroll, if it goes into overtime, pretty nice. And I still think that yeah, the position would be a little bit safer for Pupok, but it doesn't lose on the ball.
The thing is, if Bernie doesn't, if Bernie pressures enough, then Pupok might wind up in overtime. But if he can get his stall safely, then he doesn't need those rerolls either.
Yeah, looks like Bernie though does need to pressure the ball carrier, at least make him score early if he's gonna give up the score. But at this point, I don't think you need to think about that at the moment. Just wants to get to him and at least get the ball out of there.
Well, the good news for Bernie is that Pupok's ogre is very much out of position. Oh, 1 in 9, 1 in 81.
Oh no!
That is not very helpful. Still 3 players on the ground, as I could count really quickly.
Oh gosh. That block.
That is big.
And honestly, he just wanted to have at least a push, but the 1 in 9 and then turning into the 1 in 81, that definitely hurts right there, and would have had a couple more guys down the pitch to stop this touchdown, or at least give it a nice little pressure to force the early score there. So Pupok should be able to get a cage up, and boy, this is going to be looking a whole lot more difficult for Bernie to win now.
The ogre is still very much out of position. But other than that, he's got quite a solid force going forwards. I wonder how Pupok is going to deal with Gregory over there.
Well, he has choices. The blitzes can come from anybody at this point.
Yeah, I expect to see Heinz being blitzed by Iemond, but after that, not so sure.
Hmm, look at that.
Maybe he'll even advance less.
I'm not sure. This
Oh,
is this is nice. Ah,
he's yeah, he doesn't like how much out of position the ogre was, and this lets him use Arnulf to assist the block that I was asking about
there we
earlier
go.
when I said, I wonder how he's going to deal with Gregory. Well, this is how,
This is how right
and
there.
very effectively. And
And
his thrower is now solo keeping the ogre busy, and that
oh,
frees up 3 more players to finish off protecting the ball. Very, very nicely done.
Pupok.
Blue screen still.
Yeah, still some loose screens, but Pupok showing why he's here in the World Cup Invitational. Just falling short himself a couple of times from getting the ticket.
Yeah. I like how he's managed to make his ogre now tie up 3 players, still contributing a lot, even though he's not near the action. That is some quality play.
That's what we're here for. Quality play. Yeah, and definitely, as Jimmy has pointed out, probably should have done the safe moves first and then do the block. But boy, ooh, death injury coming out.
Murder. The only
And
tackler has been brutally, brutally ended.
oh, look at that. The mighty blow. The big hits. And actually didn't need the mighty
Yeah.
blow to come through, but boy, that's definitely got to make Bernie feel a little bit better about himself. But will he lose it anyways?
Yeah, Bernie's bash is coming through, and if Pupok fails to score and it goes to overtime, then that's huge. But of course, at this point in the game, as long as Pupok can pull off his stall, it might not wind up mattering that much.
Still 4 more turns left to play, and Pupok wants to hold it throughout the duration and then score it if he can do it. But again, the tide is starting to slowly turn. As I've said here in the halftime, mighty blow versus guard. Who's going to get the better of it? And at the moment,
Yeah.
it looks starting to look like the mighty blow.
Uh, I have my doubts. I if I were a betting man, my money would still be on Pupok, but that was definitely a helpful hit for Bernie.
Oh yeah, definitely. Get your bets in now, guys. Get your bets in now. 3-1 for Pupok. Come on, come on.
Yeah, he could choose to just trust in his defense, but he is 2 blitzers down, and so he's down to 10 players in total.
Yep, this will make the hold a little bit more difficult, but at least the ball is in a more advanced position. Only 1 or 2 green players in front of him. Not a huge deal. Can get by. Maybe put up a side cage, worst come to worst, and then get the touchdown in the later bits. Big blow there on the thrower.
Oh,
Ooh,
there's
dodged
some
him
extra
away.
pressure.
There we go. Humans again. Living up to the dodge. Live and die by the 1 and 9s, baby. And he is living the dream.
Okay, this makes the stall a lot harder. Those 2 dodges are very, very important.
Yeah, and one of those things where if you are going to be thinking about playing a human team in the World Cup, can you stand all these 3+ dodges that are likely going to have to come just so that you continue to stay in the game? I mean, you end up having a heart attack, I think.
Did I mention I'm allergic to agility 3? I think I may have mentioned that. Yeah.
No, I absolutely understand there. That's why I'm also an Elven player too. But boy,
to be fair, Bernie had some really rough luck on his dodges in the first half. When he was out of position and could get a bunch of guys forward on his offense, he 1 in 9 the first dodge. Where if he had a turn like this, he probably would have scored at some point.
So now no easy choices for Pupok. He is starting to feel the pressure. It's still not
Yeah.
extremely bad, but
Oh,
ooh, that's not gonna help. But we'll get the reroll return and the defender down to boot.
yeah. But if he wanted to score, he'd have to GFI without a reroll now.
Yeah.
So that even the non-stalling option isn't safe. I don't think he's going to stall. I don't think he's going to score.
What else is there, right? I mean, side cage, and then possibly getting stuck, or will he score it now? I mean, this is the coaching decision. This is why I'm glad I'm not playing at the moment. But
I think he can still screen 2, 4, 6, 8.
so, yeah,
I mean, this catcher Dieter can get like 4 squares forward, which means he screens off this flank, and then between Harkot and Iemund, he can basically form a 3-man screen with his ball carrying catcher in front of the. Yeah, there we go.
Yes,
this is what I'm talking about.
Do that. He's totally gonna do that screen there, but
Nope.
that will be
Oh, he's gonna do it somewhere else.
He's gonna do it somewhere else there. Well, but the thing about it though is that Bernie will be able to put some pressure on and might actually force the score with 3 more turns left to play.
Well, he can get his catcher next to the guard on the left, which is actually also pretty safe. But I would have preferred to see it on the side here, because this well, I was counting there. Thank you.
Let's see here. 1,
4,
2,
6,
3,
7.
4, 5.
Yeah, 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus would get a sack there.
Oh, finally, Ogre pinning out. Gonna give the injury there on the backside, but I think those guys are almost out of the equation.
Yeah, and he still has a bench, so even the removal for overtime is not that big a deal. Ooh, that helps.
Starting off with a dodge. Ooh.
Well, all the important stuff has been done already. Yeah, this helps Pupok stall a lot.
This is definitely helpful, and a misuse there, not starting, but he's gonna dodge away, and couldn't get the third one out, but that's okay. That does help out already.
Yeah, no, I like this play. Do you see how much of Bernie's team is all the way on the wrong side of the pitch here? I mean, he's got 4 players on the line of scrimmage, faced the wrong way, and then he's got the guy all the way in the backfield. That is a lot of power not being used.
Yeah. He's going to have to hurry up. I mean, Pupok is still going to stall it, but at this point, Bernie just wants to force a score so that he'll have at least 1 or maybe 2 extra turns by the end. You don't want to let Pupok score it at round 16. At the very worst, let him score it on 15 so that you'll have 2 turns for hopefully a return yourself. But
yeah. Oh, I have the feeling Pupok is going to pull off the stall to turn 16 all the way.
Oh no, this is Diam Lord's hopes are going down the tubes.
Oh, and there's a 1 in 9.
More 1 in 9s.
And no knockdown on the reroll.
Oh man, this is
Bernie
just
is in trouble.
The human players on the pitch are crumbling. They got the bonehead. Gonna use up the reroll resource right there. Would have been better served on the dodge that's gonna be likely coming. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think he could have done better with more pressuring instead of. I don't see why this Mayblow tackle blitzer is still out there. For example, I mean, he's needed more than as a scoring threat or whatever.
Yeah, he's. It's definitely a difficult position, and this is the difference right here, and which I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier. It's just the time crunch, the choices that you have to make. It's not easy when you are playing it. It's easier to just kind of sit back and play quarterback, as it were. But right now, Bernie's have to make some pretty tough choices, and at least he's able to get the mark on the ball.
So Traperos is saying that the difference in builds was not that significant this half because of how spread Pupok played. That is true, but then again, he didn't need the guard to get ahead safely. Whereas in the first half, the one turn that messed up Bernie's offense entirely was really driven by the guard on Pupok's team.
Indeed.
So I agree that guard hasn't played that big a role in the second half, but that's because Pupok is just playing out the status quo. Whereas in the first half, he had to use the guard to leverage his defense, which he did magnificently well.
Boy, some really unhappy choices here from the Green Human team. Just trying to get some people into range to at least threaten.
Yeah.
But likely another round will tick off, and by the very worst 15. But you cannot allow Pupok to score it on 16.
Yeah, so what I do like is that Griff Jr., the Mighty Blow tackler, is now in blitzing range of the end zone, which means he's actually covering a lot of ground that is now unsafe for stalling in.
Pupok here, considering carefully where he wants to position. This is all about the positioning at this point, so you don't want to nub it up at this point. Needs to make sure the pressure is off from the ball carrier.
Yeah, I would expect Emond to blitz the ball carrier free, and then for the ball carrier to hide in the bottom left corner, screened off by Emond and whoever is able to dodge. Oh, this knockdown is super helpful with that.
Oh, that's
No, he's going for the other side. All right, fair enough.
Look at that. And actually, that's not so great if what you say is going to be the scenario, because he's actually still in range for a blitz if he hides himself on the left side. So
Yeah, no. The fact that he blitzed in this direction means he's going for the right side instead.
yeah, he's going to go for the center right. Yes.
Which does mean the ogre screens off against Griff Jr., but there's still Gaston over here.
Gaston.
I don't like this. I would have much rather been on the left flank, screened off. But let's see if he can make this work.
Yeah, indeed, he will screen off here to the right side, and Bernie can only just pressure this on the 15th round to ensure the score, but there's just
Well,
two
not too
turns.
soon. Not too soon.
Ooh, almost getting a little diced there, but we'll get the return. Reroll.
Yeah, but this is not safe at all. This dodge does not have
Ooh, the
dodge skill.
dodge.
If that had failed,
Yeah,
there would have been an easy shot on the ball.
yeah.
I mean, this tackler here, Gaston, is the reason I didn't like him going to the right flank. On the left flank, he could have been safe from Gaston, without rolling too much dice, and safe from Griff, but with a single dodge.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Well, sometimes risk is the business.
True. Yeah, that dodge alone was such a massive, massive moment.
Right.
Going down there, which is 33% chance, would have been potential ruin for Pupok. But he's pulling off the stall one more turn.
Living and dying by the 1 and 9s, like I said. Well, if anything, Bernie should be able to get some pressure on the ball carrier, barring Nuffle.
At that point, it was a 1 in 3, though, because he'd already used the reroll on the block
Oh, did he?
earlier.
Okay. That's right. I forgot he used the reroll already. So there we go. 1 and 3 works out. Oh boy.
Absolutely.
Getting some support.
So, will we see a 5+1 die magic play then?
Nah, I don't think so. I think blitzing through, putting pressure in, flooding as many green players as we can at the ball, forcing the score, and then going in and
I
trying to
think I think
turn it.
I'd be tempted to. Oh no! What's that?
What?
Oh, a chain push. I
Chain
like it.
push. Look at
Yeah,
that.
he gets
Bernie!
the tackler to punch the catcher there.
Bernie!
But who will punch the ball carrier? I mean, it's a nice play, but does he have anyone to
I think
make it
so.
count?
I
The
think so.
thrower?
I think so. The thrower's gonna have to make the
Hmm.
blitz, but
Yeah.
he's got the GFI support from the lineman way back if he needs it. But oh yes, it's a
Yeah.
catcher with 2 strength, so the opening is there. Ooh, but
Yeah, he's got a one die now,
he's got the one die at
but
least.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, at this point, Bernie will probably
I
take
mean,
them both down.
the thing is, at least he can force him to score. If Bernie manages to push here, he can just push him into the end zone and make sure that he gets another turn.
Somebody
And
needs to tell
that is
Bernie to
crucial.
pick his players up and make the moves first. Damn it!
Skull
Oh,
into
the
a
skull
push. Yeah,
into a
push
push.
goes into the end
Yeah, and the
zone,
push into the
which
end
means
zone.
there's another turn.
There we go, and he will be able to save a turn there. Nicely done by Bernie, finding the push combination to get the opening.
Nice.
Nicely done. I mean, that's the difference there between winners and championship winners right there. Bernie proving that he does belong
Nice.
here.
Yeah,
And
last reroll used though, so that is going to be scary. But 2 turns to score. He still has sure hands. He has pass. He has 2 catchers. He has the stronger team now because he's playing 11 against 10, and Pupok is down 2 blitzers, the only tackler and one of the guarders.
well, at this
Bernie
point,
still has his Apo even.
yeah, I mean, at this point here, I'm sure now both players are like, well, I'm glad I'm playing humans because I could totally throw and pass the ball to the catchers and make a 2 turn touchdown
Yep.
play.
Now Pupok is down to 1 reroll, but he does have the +2 fame. So the chance of Bernie getting an extra reroll somewhere is really, really slim.
Indeed, yeah, that's the nice thing
But
here, taking the fan
the
factor.
numbers advantage. Yeah, the numbers advantage might just make a difference though.
We'll see though. Bernie needs it right here. Make this game a little bit more prolonged and hopefully pull it out somehow in the overtime period. But we can't think about that right now. It's all about this 2 turner coming in. Still has his catchers alive. Still has the 11 players on 10.
Yeah, but one wrong move.
One misstep. No rerolls though, too.
Exactly.
Not gonna be easy.
So who makes the blitz here? Is he gonna blitz through that lineman instead of through the thrower? I don't see why. I mean,
Hmm.
if you happen to get
Pupok will get the roll. Got the fame.
yeah, extra reroll from fame, so helpful.
Yeah.
Ooh, good value on the block
Nice.
over there.
Hey, that's why people were saying, "Hey, I can get a block for my big guy now." Oh, luckily he did.
I would like to see someone cover the ball before this blitz. Nah, he's got the catcher still. And if this is a turnover, then he's done anyway.
Ooh, defender down, opens
'Cause-
things wide open there, just right of the center. Now he has an open, and both of the
I
catches
like
are
it.
free.
I like it.
Should be able to get 2 receivers down. Even the blitzer, I believe he's also in range. No, yes, he is just in range as well. So
Yeah, only 1 GFI.
he should be able to get there with the thrower, pick it up, and then get a little screen off, get a little safety net. The throw and the catch. Not every day we're gonna see a throw play, but here we go. This is the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about a KO tournament. We're gonna see people pull out all the stops, and this is it.
2 scoring threats is a must-have. He's going to have to cover the right flank a little bit because that blitzer, the guard blitzer, could just dodge out. But he can use Dazroy for that if he wants. After Gaston has blocked. Ooh, that's just a push, but it's enough. He's going to follow that, I think,
Yeah,
just to keep him marked. Yep.
Yep, mark him up.
And then that means that Griff Jr. might just spend his action to mark the ogre, which is costly. Oh, no. Oh.
Oh, look at that. He's actually not going to mark him. Ooh.
Then he's going to protect wherever the ball is going, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to screen off there instead of just
Pickup's
marking
good.
people.
Huh?
Oh, he's going to do the pass now. And actually he's going to do the move down the center and then hand it off, and then that's the screen right there, I guess.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah,
you don't
I
want to
like
rely
that.
on that
You know,
3+
just
pass last turn.
Get the
Now you
rolls
still
out the
got
way.
backup options.
Get
Yeah.
the rolls out the way, and he needed all of it. And
Nice
there we
one,
go.
Bernie.
Nice
Promising
one.
stuff.
He still
Very,
needs to avoid
very cool.
the block here right next to him from Ulbricht Hamlin there on the right side. And then afterwards, maybe a blitz on the ball carrier, at least the 1 die. But, I mean, this is just looking pretty good for Bernie to get the overtime period now.
Yeah, the 1 die blitz is already there on a 3+ dodge. And this thrower could mark the catcher with 1 GFI, and then the 3+ gets him a 2. Oh, now that matters.
Oh,
That matters a lot. I like this.
GFI,
I mean,
yes. No 1 in 6s.
for a no reroll play, this was super risky. Wow.
Finally
All the
gonna
dice,
mark it.
Bernie.
Good stuff right there.
Wow.
By the end, he says, you know what? You're right, guys. I need to mark up that ogre. And he does.
This is going to overtime. This is...
Barring Nuffle, this is likely going into overtime. Now, there's still some plays here for Pupok to get the 1 die blitz at least. But it's not going to be easy. Absolute barn
This,
burner return.
I mean, it took a lot of dice. There were a lot of 3+s here. And quite a few of those without reroll altogether. But it's also very elegant. I like it.
Oh no, I'm going to have to think of a nickname for Bernie.
Well, I guess there's a 1 die play.
Yep, that's
Not great.
that's the one I'm looking at right now. It's just the 1 die block with the 1 die blitz after the dodge. That's the only
Yep.
thing I can think of for Pupok at the moment. I mean, where else?
It's not looking pretty.
Well, that helps, I guess, for the overtime.
Oh yeah,
period.
I absolutely agree that the sequence in which he did this was right. There was a KO, ogre punching KO, and of course the apple was used because getting another player. Ooh,
Yeah, you don't
getting
want to
another
go
player
into
for
a
overtime.
50% chance of just letting them have 10 on 10. You want to make sure you have the numbers advantage going into the overtime period, whether you're on offense or defense. And just
And on
that
overtime, the apothecary is no use against the Kaz anyway, because the player isn't coming back.
You're right
So
about
you can
that.
only use it on KOs.
So good play
Okay,
there
GFI.
for the
GFI
aim.
marks. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
It's gonna move
Oh.
there. Oh, GFI's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
To
gonna
make-
get the blitz in for the 1 die. Just a push. There's the
Oh, he
reroll.
rerolls.
The push.
Ooh.
Oh wow, he actually is gonna spend the reroll that was given to him on the kickoff. Why not, I suppose? But now it's gonna actually be a very interesting play there. That's actually what Pupok has set up for after the push, but he actually re-rolled it, and
He can get in front of it still with this catcher.
he can.
There we
and
go.
he does.
And this lineman, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The lineman can also get very far if he still has the reroll. If he manages to dodge into GFIs,
Yeah,
that could make this tricky.
that's why I'm a little bit confused on the push because he set up so that the push would be okay,
Yeah,
and he
agreed.
re-rolled it. I'm
Agreed.
not. I mean, he should have saved it for this dodge right here, and oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh
Ooh, and the
well.
entry. Oh no.
Oh,
And so now Bernie is just a 4+3+
splush.
away. Can he get something better?
Yeah, he can. Really
Yeah,
sure he can.
he absolutely can. He
I mean, he's
absolutely
got a one die handoff, for example.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, he can make that 2 dice even.
Oh yeah.
He knocks the lineman down, makes the blitz against the thrower 2 dice, and then he can hand off
Yeah, nice and easy. He's got
to the
catch,
catcher.
so the handoff catch is not
Yeah.
the question, and then he just walks it in.
Yep, that's what this looks like to me. Or he doesn't hand off. He can also dodge because there's no tackle there anyway, right?
Yeah. There's the 2-die black and
Oh,
doesn't free.
yeah. So now the blitz doesn't become 2 dice. That makes it a little bit scarier.
Doesn't free him up, and without a reroll, Bernie really has to watch out.
Yeah.
He does still have yet another chance at it. He could. Boy, and this is the guard coming into play right there. If anything, Vincent would have loved to just stand up and get the blitz on.
Yep.
But instead, it's still just a 1-die blitz. At least he's got block, though.
Oh, Wolfbark is very rightly pointing out if the ogre blocks, then Gaston might actually be able to move around, mark that thrower, make the blitz a 2-die.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And of course the ogre block. And of course the ogre block is a 3-die.
Yeah, nicely
Needs
done,
to be good
Bernie.
though.
Finding the way.
Needs to be a knockdown though. Push is not going to be enough.
Yeah, and that's why he wanted to get the extra assist on to get the 3-die. Just need to double the strength. And
more than double.
oh yeah, I'm a +1 to the doubling of the strength, and then get the blitz on. Oh, nicely done here, Bernie. What are you doing to me, man? What kind of outrageous move is he gonna pull out next?
Yeah.
There's the 2-die. Oh, absolutely critical.
I don't see it.
There we go. Easy little dodge away for the touchdown.
So Cyanide isn't actually telling me anything right now. My replay froze.
Well, don't worry. I'm still here. So 1-1, the human team is going to get the score after the easy little dodge away for the catcher. Actually needed the reroll, I believe, because he had failed the first dodge. Yes, he did. And overtime period, if you guys don't know, in overtime period, it is going to be a sudden death where the first touchdown will win you the match. So the coin toss, pretty crucial. Wow.
Well, good thing we were not at any crucial point when my replay froze. Thank you for airing us, talking us through this.
Yes. Well, he did get the 2-die. Huge block. Defender down and dodge away. Easy. See that, Sage? That's why you need to win the grand finals for the World Cup and get yourself a nice new PC, right?
Oh, this wasn't my PC. This was just the game looking like no decisions were being made.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
A hiccup. Well, I didn't want to spoil it, but the coin toss.
No, thanks for spoiling it.
Well, I mean, the touchdown was a little bit spoiled, but but now the coin toss in overtime. Like I said, in overtime period, it is sudden death overtime. So the first one that scores it will win the match. And if you look on the dice log there, Oberwald's, the green human team, Bernie Buffon, will be receiving the ball. And he does have an advantage. Look on the sideline. 3 guys out for Pupok's team. He is playing 2 humans down against a full complement of Bernie's human team. So this is going to be a nigh impossible request for the defense to stop the ball carrier from getting the touchdown.
So yeah, one more offensive drive for Bernie, still with a full squad, and Pupok is now down to 9 players.
11 on 9. This is going to be a very uphill battle for Pupok to play defense in this
Yeah.
manner.
Oh, turn lost.
And that really doesn't make too much of a difference unless Pupok somehow manages to find a few injuries or Bernie just holds the ball for too long. But I suspect that Bernie will likely move the ball up pretty quickly and end all matters.
Oh, I guess we can go back in the replay and see that. All right, I'm just gonna briefly look at those last moments.
Sure, I'll stay on the game for now and let you know if
Thank
anything
you.
happens.
So as expected, moving up, 3 die, 2 die, knocking him down, and then he's got the option of handing off or dodging. Chooses the dodge and gets the touchdown. Lovely.
Beautiful. Nicely done by Bernie, opting to go for that and huge 2-die block as well. Or 2-die blitz, I should say, and then the dodge. Championship
Can we
moments come with championship plays right there, and that is tremendous.
get back to the present?
Yeah, and so far the ball kicked pretty deep, and so you're good. You need to just
Thank you.
catch up. And I believe
I
Bernie
think
sees
we're all
what's
caught
going
up.
on, so I think he's holding the ball for a sec. Yeah.
Thank you.
And looks like we're back to real time almost.
All right. So we see Bernie blitzing. 2 die on the catcher. No tackle, even though he's got 2 of them, but
Defender down though.
knockdown all the same.
Gotta love that. Both down would have been good as well. But gets the beautiful defender down. It's always very nice to see the big, huge yellow star.
Yeah, a bit surprised about this play though. If you know your drive is going to start with a blitz on that catcher, why not use one of the mighty low tackles?
Guess he wanted to get the hits on the front line instead. Either way though, minute left to play here for the 18th round. Bernie just needs to move down the pitch and prove it. 11 on 9, and if Bernie doesn't get a touchdown, I will forever haunt him in the chat. Bernie, what about the semifinals World Cup Invitational where you couldn't score it?
Well, he could still get it on penalty kicks.
Yeah, but you never want to get in a situation where it's more or less 50-50. I know Pupok still has the reroll in hand, but you never really want to let Nuffle decide your fate.
Ooh,
the
and
ogre!
that is big. He still has an apple though, doesn't he?
The big hits. No,
No, of
Pupok.
course not.
No, Pupok had
Bernie has
burned
the
it.
apple. No, neither do. My bad.
Yeah, Pupok used it earlier on the failed injury roll, remember?
Of course, yeah. The broken neck into broken skull.
Indeed.
So down to 8 then. This is going to be very, very difficult for Pupok to pull off.
Yeah, Pupok now needs to play hyper aggressively pretty soon. As soon as that ball hits the midfield, Pupok should try to pounce, if anything.
Yeah, he's going to need to get like 1 or 2 removals very soon, and that's not how we do that. I guess the ogre is going to take... Ooh, okay. Forward. Aggressive. Fair enough. Now, I would expect the ogre to go play with the 2 tackles at the center. which would leave the thrower to play with the ogre. And the other guard slightly out of position there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
very nice, nicely done there. Still trying to make the best use of the guard and putting the big ogre to the challenge here.
Yeah. It's just very sad for Pupok that he has to leave Bernie's ogre completely unattended.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he's not
some
worried
of
about
those
him
four
catching the
players.
ball.
Yeah. Some of
Dion
those four
Lord though
players would
couldn't
have
be
come in
happier.
handy. Yeah, he's having a little party here.
He's having a go Bernie, go you big man you.
So apparently during the match, Dion Lord did not realize that there might be a third place playoff. So only after his friends heard us cast and say that did he realize that he wasn't out of the running for the World Cup yet.
Yeah.
So that must have been a very happy post-match moment for him.
Oh man.
No risks.
Yeah, he didn't know that. So afterwards, we told him in chat, and he's like, "Oh, really? There's going to be a third place if Bernie wins? Well, then I am a Bernie fan." Direct quote.
So goes for the push instead of the both down because he really wants to serve that catcher.
Oh, that's a really great play into another 2-die. At least should get the push unless Nuffle has other ideas, and he doesn't.
There we go.
Oh, and it just makes the game so much easier. 11-on-7, and this is not a store you want to visit. Whew. Wow.
And a POW on the catcher. Leaving either a 1-die or a dodge there.
Feels me, I take the dodge. No rerolls.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, agreed. Could turn it into a 1-die against the lineman with the middle blitzer.
Yeah, and at this point,
or just screen off.
Yeah, at this point here, all Bernie really needs to do is watch out for the cage dives because it is incoming. Pupok will likely start cage diving pretty soon, especially once Bernie crosses the midfield.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But don't worry, Bernie's the console player. He'll screw it up. Oh, I was kidding, guys. Just wanted to make the chat crazy for a second there.
So I think we're going to see the Ogre blitz and get connected with the ball carrier.
Yeah,
he has
there we
to.
Go, beautifully. And he
Oh, both down and then a GFI, I guess, right?
No.
I think he needs a GFI to get.
Oh,
Oh,
have to put the
again.
GFI. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
he's
that
not gonna
was
re-roll it there.
awful.
Disgusted.
Awful.
That is the second
Poor
time
Pupok.
a crucial GFI coming out from the Ogre needed to be landed, and he just couldn't do it.
That's probably game, yeah. That was a last-ditch effort from Pupok to put some kind of pressure on.
Oh,
And
boy.
no dice. Ouch.
And he did not want to re-roll it there. Just in case you guys are wondering, he has that loner ability, and so the re-roll needs a 50% chance roll before a re-roll could come out. So Pupok not wanting to give it up there for free.
He could have chosen the push instead of the both down, not knocking the catcher down, but at least connecting to the ball. But of course, he needed to upset the balance. Doing the predictable safe things won't work if the status quo is against you. So he needed to push for both removing a catcher and getting onto the ball. Tried it, got neither, and now that Ogre is next to useless. Probably going to get one lineman marking him.
Yeah.
And then the guard, the guard filling up the cage.
The level one lineman marking up that Ogre, and then just should be walking. Heck, I wouldn't even do that. I would actually just walk the lineman up and let the Ogre laugh as the Ogre tries to catch up. There's just really no need, actually. I would actually just, if it were me, I would actually go and mark the lineman or put up a big old screen like you see right there.
Yeah, I guess this also kind of works. But it still has the potential of the Ogre blitzing in and getting into contact with the cage there. with the ball carrier even.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, well, he still could move the guy in the back there, so he can just step him back one, and then now there is no danger of the touch.
Yeah,
Oh,
doesn't though.
oh well.
But yeah, you're right.
Console
Diagonal back.
players, damn him!
But yeah, Gregory going one step back and to the left would have actually prevented the ogre from getting into contact.
But you know, console players. Well, that's okay though. It is after 2 GFIs, so it's still a little risky. But yeah, it would be the best move I think for Pupok at this point.
Yeah, so we're gonna discuss with Nathios how he wants to do the third place decider game as well as the final of this tournament, and it's one of those rare situations where there's actually more riding on the third place decider game than there is on the final.
Oh boy, that's well. I mean, it's all about the schedule now. I mean, this is a little bit last minute, and so we'll just have to work it out, I suppose. Hopefully, the third player, the third place match will be before the actual grand finals. But I suppose somebody winning a ticket might actually be more exciting. Huh? I don't know.
Well, it's definitely the more important outcome for the World Cup, if not the more glorious match. Hey there, Art. No, I agreed with the family that they would vacate the premises while I did this stream. You know, being a professional, I guess, and all. But yeah, we are in my living room, back where I used to stream from, because there's construction noise. So didn't want to bother you guys with all of that.
Well, the ogre does make it in there after the blitz, and so he's touching the ball carrier. And this is what Pupok needs to do at this point. Just make it look good and try to at least stop this touchdown with the little players he has left. But he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, Gregory being one square to the left of where he is now would have helped a lot to prevent this.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be enough. The ogre is still free. The catcher could mark. Heinfritz could blitz from below. Or that.
Yeah, the nice thing about being up in numbers is that, hey, we got lots of guys to help assist with this ogre. Got an ogre problem?
Oh, he still got the blitz with the mighty blow from the line of scrimmage.
There you go.
I knew that.
Yeah.
So
plenty of humans to go around. Yeah, the push is all we
will
need.
do.
Yeah, no stand firm yet. Ball is free.
Yeah.
He did
that blitzer's not going any further.
Nope. Don't want to risk it with no re-rolls, but yeah, he just needs to conduct the 2-die block with an assist coming up right in front of the ball carrier, and then afterwards
he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. He could sideline cage with the 3 players he has free, and then do the 2-die assisted by the ogre. But of course, that sideline cage is scary because that catcher could 6+ half dies.
Yeah.
That's about the scariest thing for Bernie.
Yeah, he definitely don't want to end up side caging if he can help it because of that scenario right there. He'll definitely do the 2-die blitz.
I don't think he can help sideline caging here.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I think he can't help it.
He has for, I guess you could use the ogre.
Oh
Oh!
no! I was about to say,
Oh!
if the ogre doesn't bonehead first, then yeah, he'll be able to use the ogre and help out, but... Oh no.
He's got three free players. He's got no reroll.
Oh gosh.
At least this lineman can get just far enough to make that sideline cage happen. But this is still scary. No, he's going for a screen instead
Yeah,
without the ogre.
looks like a big screen there, and gonna have to do
Yeah,
without the
so
ogre.
this is still an easy half-die blitz, but one dodge away makes that way harder to get. And a half-die blitz isn't that scary.
Yeah. Well, at least it won't be a surf though into a,
Exactly.
and so that's the
Exactly.
difference. But oh boy, he almost was better off not moving the ogre at all. But if he wanted
Actually,
to
yeah.
have this,
Now that you mention it, yes, he would have been way better off.
yeah.
But the dodge worked, so
Oh.
he still got this side secure,
Got it.
and there is very little Pupok can do now.
Got it. Those lucky console players. No, but very good there.
I mean,
Making the best of what he could in the position that he got after the bonehead.
3, 4, 4, 3, 1 die. That's not great.
Not great, but I think it's the last bastion of hope here.
Yeah, if he doesn't manage that, then it's over.
Yeah.
Or he could try and get like connected.
Hmm.
But really, is that going to do enough?
No, if I was Bernie, if I just got my ball carrier marked, then I would just either just look for the blitz, and if that's not available, then the dodge away for the touchdown. I'd do that I'd do that without even blinking an eye. Damn Lord's like hashtag go Bernie.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, at least we've got a great match with some awesome plays from both sides. So
Yeah.
it was a definite pleasure to cast.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sage, so far so good. And we will be back for tomorrow, guys, for the grand finals and looking like a third place match for a ticket between Pupok
Indeed.
and Diamlord. So if
So-
this touchdown is true at least.
Yeah, so expect that to come tomorrow between 3 and 5 p.m. Paris time. So that is between 1 and 3 p.m. UTC. Oh, here comes the dodge. And
Dodge. Oh, using the last reroll there.
okay.
We'll be able to get there. And so here comes the crazy dodges into the 2-die blitz, it looks like. No, well, actually, the catcher.
No, that's a half die.
Oh, no, yeah, the catcher.
Unless the lino here does it.
Yeah, unless maybe
1,
the
2,
lino.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's a 5 plus 1 die after a 3. No,
No,
it is the
okay,
catcher.
So it's going to be the catcher.
Uh,
One to
5
make-
plus half die?
There we go.
5
He's
plus
going
is
to get
good.
the 5 plus
Half
into
die?
the 2 red die block. But unfortunately, just going to be a pair of pushes on the red die.
Yeah.
At least it's going to be pinning the catcher, but I do believe
Bernie
that
does not have a reroll. Remember,
it doesn't
Bernie
have a
does not
reroll,
have a
but
reroll.
it is going to be. It's not detrimental. He is pinned at the for this moment, but he should still be able to get a 2-die block afterwards because if this catcher just goes and take away the assist from the lineman, 2-die block here from the lineman himself.
Yeah, that catcher's getting marked by the dodging lineman in
In
20 seconds or so.
20 seconds, we're gonna see the lineman mark the catcher. That's the only play.
Well, the ogre still.
Oh,
no, it
doesn't
doesn't.
get it. Pupok. So the catcher
ogre
should
still
take away
has
the
the potential
assist
to
there,
help as
and then
well.
after that, 2-die block. All he needs is a push, and GG.
Brutal.
Wow, only Nuffle can save Pupok now.
3, 4, 5, Yep.
Yeah, and
1 in 27.
yep, yep. Yeah, and as chat has pointed out,
Oh,
what?
was that
Woo!
was that a blitz?
He
Did
did,
he
but it
blitz with
doesn't.
the?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Well,
It doesn't really
no,
matter.
it does. It's actually safer.
It would have
It
been
actually makes a
safer.
lot of sense.
It would have.
He
It
can
would have.
still do it with the block.
He can still
Yeah,
do it with the block, but oh boy, what a scary second
yeah.
there. I was like, wait. Oh, but yeah, that doesn't matter.
No, it's better because the three die from the ogre doesn't turn over on a both down, and in fact succeeds on a both down, and he can still get the three die without him. So
Yeah,
that
he can
was
still get the
the
three die
right
without him.
play.
It was still a good play. It doesn't matter, but oh boy, I didn't even think about the ogre blitz. I was just thinking about what you see right here, is that the human players could just
Yeah,
surround up that catcher and still get the three die block. So
yeah.
I wasn't even considering the ogre blitz.
But it was the play. Absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't even
And there
considering
we
it. There we go.
go.
Just
That
couldn't be good
was
enough
it.
for the push. Oh wow, I thought that was bad. I thought that was bad. I was just like, what? But yeah. Whew.
Well done, Bernie. Congratulations.
Bernie Buffon. What is
All
this?
right.
What is this? A console gamer in the grand finals? And not just
Of
one, but
course, of
two?
course.
You
All
better
right.
believe it, guys.
So, we're gonna wrap things up here. VG, thank you very much for casting.
Thank
Also,
you. Sage.
massive thanks to Aces Republic of Gamers for sponsoring this tournament, as well as the World Cup major tournaments. We're going to be back tomorrow to cast the major final, and we're going to talk to Nathios about the third place match.
Yes, indeed.
And for now, I would like to thank you all very, very much for watching. I'll actually be live again in a couple of hours with my own match. See you all tomorrow for the grand final.
Yes,
Thank you all very
indeed.
much.
What a great
Keep
grand
purists.
final coming up and the third place coming up, guys. So really appreciate you guys coming out to watch.
Yep. Make sure to follow VG Purist on Twitch and on YouTube, of
And
course.
you guys as well. Definitely give the Sage a definite look on his channel. Follow him as well as subscribing. Sage, been a pleasure.
Likewise, and see you all tomorrow.
Take care, guys.